Have you ever noticed how some people ask for favors that don't feel right? The way he leans in, his voice smooth, his words wrapped in kindness, but something about it feels off. He makes it sound so small, so harmless, like it's nothing at all. But deep inside, you feel it, the weight of expectation, the silent strings attached, the unspoken cost of saying yes. And before you know it, you are caught in something you never agreed to, something you never wanted. But here's what you need to understand. The moment you give to the wrong person, thinking it's just one little favor, you are opening a door that will be hard to close. Seneca once said, "He who receives a benefit with gratitude repays the first installment on his debt." But what happens when he never planned to repay at all? What happens when the favor you did out of love becomes the very thing that traps you? This is the danger, Queen. This is how manipulation begins. It does not start with big demands. It does not come with flashing lights and warning signs. It starts small, so small that you almost don't see it. Until one day, you wake up and realize that your kindness has been used against you. Think of a spider weaving its web. It does not chase its prey. It does not attack in the open. No, it spins its trap, thin and delicate, almost invisible. And when the fly lands, it does not struggle at first. It believes it is free, that nothing has happened. But with every step, with every slight movement, it gets more tangled, more stuck, more helpless, until escape is no longer an option. This is how it works when the wrong person asks for a favor. The first request seems innocent. The second feels natural. The third, well, now it's expected. And by the time you realize what's happening, you are already inside the web. You see, not every request is about need. Some are about control. Some are about testing you, seeing how much you will give, how far you will bend before you break. And the biggest mistake you can make, thinking that if you just give a little more, if you just say yes one more time, everything will be fine. It won't. Because the wrong person is never satisfied. The moment you prove that you are willing to sacrifice, he will demand more. The moment you show that you are afraid to lose him, he will use that fear against you. And that's why, Queen, you must be careful. Your heart is rare. Your energy is precious. Your kindness is a gift, but only to those who deserve it. Because here's the truth. A man who truly values you will never put you in a position where you have to question his intentions. He will never make you feel like you owe him something just because you love him. He will never ask you to give up your peace, your dignity, your power for the sake of proving your devotion. But the wrong man, oh, he will. And the moment you recognize it, the moment you see the web for what it is, you have one choice: walk away. Because a queen does not get trapped. A queen does not let her love be used as currency. A queen does not allow herself to be tested like a servant when she was always meant to reign. This is your moment. The moment you step out of the web. The moment you stop questioning if you are good enough and start realizing that not every man is worthy of your goodness. The moment you take back your power, your time, your heart, and remind the world of one simple truth. You are not a woman to be used. You are a woman to be honored, respected, and cherished. And the wrong man, he will never have that privilege again. If this message awakened something inside you, if it made you see your worth in a way you never have before, then don't keep this power to yourself. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the wisdom, and the strength you need to rise. Queens, you were never meant to be used, you were meant to reign. And together we are building an empire of unstoppable women. Number 1. The moment you become his convenience, you stop being his priority. Have you ever felt like you were the one always giving, always sacrificing, and always bending just to keep the relationship alive? Have you ever looked at him and realized that somewhere along the way, you stopped being his priority and became nothing more than his convenience? He doesn't ask if you're okay. He doesn't check in to see if you need anything. But the moment he's in trouble, the moment he needs something, suddenly you are the first person he turns to. That is not love. That is not care. That is not the kind of relationship you deserve. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And right now, if your thoughts are filled with frustration, doubt, and exhaustion, it's because deep down, you know something isn't right. You feel it, don't you? The weight of always being the one who is expected to show up, to fix things, to give without question. But what happens when you need him? What happens when you finally stop giving and start expecting something in return? That's when you see the truth. Because a man who only values you when you are useful to him never valued you at all. Think of a candle in a dark room. It burns brightly, giving warmth and light, expecting nothing in return. But what happens when it has burned too long, when all the wax has melted away? The room grows cold, the light fades, and suddenly, the very same people who enjoyed its glow no longer have use for it. That is what happens when you allow a man to treat you like a convenience. He takes your warmth, your energy, your love, never thinking about what happens when you have nothing left to give. But you are not a candle burning away to serve him. You are the fire itself. And a fire does not exist to keep a man comfortable. It exists to burn fiercely, to shine brightly, to consume anything that does not deserve to stand in its presence. You see, when a man truly loves you, he does not see you as something to be used. He does not call only when he needs a favor. He does not disappear when you have needs of your own. He makes you feel valued, respected, cherished. He does not let you carry the weight of the relationship alone. But the wrong man, the moment you stop being convenient for him, he will show you exactly who he is. He will become distant, cold. He will make you feel like you're the problem when all you did was stop being his safety net. And that is where everything changes. Because the moment you see it for what it is, you realize something powerful. You were never his priority to begin with. You were just an option, just a backup plan, just the woman who was always there, always saying yes, always proving her worth to a man who never had to prove anything to you. But that ends today. Because, Queen, you are not a second choice. You are not a convenience. You are not a woman who's only valuable when she is useful. This is your moment. The moment you step back and let him feel your absence. The moment you stop answering every call. Stop fixing every problem. Stop being the woman he only thinks about when he needs something. Because the second you walk away, the second you stop being his safety net, he will feel it. He will see what he lost. He will realize, too late, that the woman who once stood beside him is now far beyond his reach. So now, it is time. Time to rise. Time to step into the woman you were always meant to be. The woman who does not beg, does not plead, does not settle for being an afterthought. You are not a convenience. You are the prize. And a real man. He will never put you in a position where you have to question that. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am not a convenience, I am the prize. Let the world know that from this moment on, you are done bending, done proving, done waiting for a man to realize what he had. And if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here working hard to bring you the lessons, the strength, and the wisdom you need to step into your power. Because, Queen, you were never meant to be used, you were meant to reign. Number 2, if he only needs you in private, he's hiding something in public. Have you ever felt like a secret, like he only reaches out when the world is quiet, when no one else is around, when the only witnesses are the walls that surround you? He makes you feel special in private, his words dripping with sweetness, his touch full of warmth. But the moment the sun rises, the moment life moves forward, he acts like nothing happened, like you are invisible, like you are nothing more than a whisper in the dark. And that, Queen, is where the truth reveals itself. A man who only needs you in private is a man who is hiding something in public. Seneca once said, "A man is as miserable as he is insincere." And that is exactly what he is, insincere. His affection does not come from love, it comes from convenience. He keeps you close enough to use, but far enough to hide. He wants the comfort of your presence, but not the responsibility of showing the world who you are to him. He is not proud to stand beside you. He is not willing to claim you. And a man who cannot stand beside you in the light has no right to hold you in the dark. Think of the moon. The moon shines at night, bright and beautiful, drawing people in with its glow. But the moment the sun rises, it fades. It disappears. It does not stand in the daylight. It does not claim its presence in the world. That is exactly how he treats you. At night, when no one else is around, he makes you feel like the most important woman in the world. But when the world is watching, when he has the chance to honor you, to acknowledge you, he shrinks. And a love that shrinks in daylight was never love at all. You are not a secret. You are not something to be hidden, to be used, to be treated like a convenience. If he truly cared, if he truly valued you, he would never make you question where you stand. Love does not hide in the shadows. A real man does not protect his image at the cost of your dignity. If he can laugh, talk, and be seen with his friends, with strangers, with anyone but you, then his actions are clear. He is not afraid of love. He is afraid of loving you in the open. And that, Queen, is not a man you can trust. A man who hides you is a man who fears losing his freedom more than he fears losing you. He wants to keep his options open. He wants to control the narrative. He wants you to be available without ever making you feel secure. He enjoys the idea that you are waiting, that you are hoping, that you will keep accepting the little moments he gives you while he lives his life without you in it. But here's the truth. No woman, no queen, was ever meant to live in the shadows of a man who refuses to stand in the light with her. It is time to wake up. Time to see the truth for what it is. A man who truly wants you will make it known. He will not be ashamed of you. He will not hide you. He will not make excuses. Because when a man loves a woman, the world knows it. He will introduce her, honor her, hold her hand with pride. But the wrong man, he will give you only enough to keep you hoping, And hope, Queen, is not enough. You deserve a man who chooses you every day, not just when it's convenient for him. You deserve a man who is proud to stand beside you, who wants to claim you, who never makes you feel like an option he can put away when it suits him. Because love is not a secret. Love is not a transaction. Love is not a private arrangement that only benefits one person. Love is a presence. Love is commitment. Love is respect. And now it is time for you to claim your worth. Time to stop waiting for him to change. Time to stop hoping for a love that was never real to begin with. Because, Queen, you were never meant to be hidden. You were never meant to be treated like a convenience. You were never meant to be a whisper in the dark when you were born to reign in the light. Write this affirmation in the comments, Queens. I refuse to be hidden. I deserve to be chosen in the light. Let the world know that you are done accepting less than you deserve. And if this message spoke to you, if it opened your eyes, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the lessons, the strength, and the truth you need to rise. Because, Queen, your time is now. Number 3. The one who borrows your heart should never leave you in debt. Have you ever loaned your heart to a man who never intended to pay it back? You gave him your time, your energy, your love, thinking it was an investment, believing it was safe. But now you're standing in the wreckage, realizing he took everything and left you with nothing. This is what happens when you trust the wrong man. He borrows your love like a man borrowing money with no intention of returning it. And when the debt piles up, when you start asking for the bare minimum respect, effort, commitment, he disappears. Queens, hear this. A man who truly loves you will never leave you in emotional debt. Love should build you, not break you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your thoughts are filled with doubt, emptiness, and exhaustion, it is not love you are feeling, it is depletion. Love is not meant to drain you. It is not meant to feel like an unpaid loan where you keep giving, hoping he will return what was lost. The right man will never make you feel like you owe him something just for being by his side. But the wrong man, oh, he will take and take until there is nothing left. Think of a candle burning in the dark. At first, it shines brightly, filling the space with warmth and light. But if it is never protected, never cared for, if all it does is burn for others, eventually it melts away, leaving only smoke and wax. That is what happens when you give your heart to a man who only takes. He enjoys the glow while it lasts, but he never thinks about what happens when the flame runs out. And when you are left in the cold, when you have given all your love away, he moves on, looking for the next flame to burn for him. But Queens, you are not a candle meant to be burned out for a man who never appreciated your light. You are the fire itself. You do not flicker, you blaze. If he only comes to you when he needs something, if every favor he asks leaves you feeling empty, if your love feels more like a burden than a blessing, then it is time to wake up. He does not love you. He loves what you can do for him. A man like that will never be satisfied because he does not want love, he wants control. And as long as you keep giving, he will keep taking. But the moment you stop, the moment you refuse to pour into a cup that never overflows, he will reveal the truth. He was never here for you. He was here for the benefits. A real man, a man worthy of your love, will never leave you questioning your worth. He will never ask for favors that drain you, never make you prove yourself, never treat you like an ATM of love and sacrifice. The right man. He will fill your cup as you fill his. He will give as much as he takes. And if he cannot do that, then he is not a man, he is a burden. And queens, we do not carry what was never meant for us. It is time to stop giving to those who only take. It is time to reclaim the love you so freely gave to a man who never deserved it. Do not waste another second trying to collect a debt that will never be paid. Walk away. Close the door. Let him feel the emptiness of his own choices. Because here's the truth, he will remember you. He will look back and realize that he did not just lose a woman. He lost something rare, something irreplaceable. But by then, you will be long gone. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your reign. You were never meant to be drained, used, or discarded. You were meant to be adored, cherished, respected. So now, rise. Let the fire inside you burn away every ounce of regret, every piece of sadness, every whisper of self-doubt. Because you are not broken, you are reborn. And the man who treated your love like a loan, he will regret the day he underestimated you. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am not alone. I am the treasure he lost forever. Let the world know that you will never again give your love to a man who does not deserve it. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of your worth, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because we are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the power, and the lessons that will set you free. Number 4. A man who asks you to prove your love is already planning to betray it. Have you ever noticed how love turns into a test when the wrong man is in control? How suddenly the way you care is not enough, the way you love is not enough, the way you show up for him is never enough. He makes you feel like you must prove your worth, prove your devotion, prove that you are worthy of his love. But here's the truth. Love is never something you have to prove. The moment a man asks you to prove your love, he is already planning to betray it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And what happens when your thoughts are constantly filled with doubt, with fear, with the feeling that no matter what you do, he will always want more? A man who loves you will bring you peace. A man who plans to betray you will bring you uncertainty. He will always make you feel like you are one mistake away from losing him, one wrong move from being replaced. That is not love. That is a setup. Think of a woman walking across a bridge. She believes it is strong. She trusts it will hold her weight. But what she does not see are the cracks beneath her feet, the slow unraveling of the foundation. The moment she places all her weight on it, the moment she trusts it fully, it collapses. That is how he operates. He will hold you close just long enough to make you believe he is real. He will say all the right things, give just enough to keep you hoping, just enough to make you stay. But the moment you let your guard down, the moment you fully commit, he will let go. And you will be left wondering why you were never enough. He does not ask for proof of love because he needs it. He asks because he wants control. Every test is a game, a way to see how much he can take, how far he can push, how much he can demand, before you finally realize you were never the problem he was. He will make you believe that if you just try harder, love deeper, give more, he will finally choose you. But Queen, hear this, love does not come with conditions. A man who truly loves you will never make you feel like you have to fight for a place in his life. And here is where everything changes. Because the moment you realize you do not have to prove your love, the moment you stop playing his game, you reclaim your power. You were never meant to be tested. You were meant to be cherished. A queen does not audition for a role in a man's life. A queen does not compete for love. A queen does not beg to be chosen, because the right man will see your worth without you having to prove a single thing. This is your moment, queen. The moment you stop explaining, stop proving, stop chasing a man who was never strong enough to stand beside you. Let him test another woman. Let him play his games elsewhere. Because while he is busy looking for proof, you will be busy rising. And one day, he will realize what he lost: the woman who loved him without limits, the woman who gave without hesitation, the woman who was willing to stand by his side if only he had been wise enough to keep her. But by then, it will be too late, because you will no longer be within his reach. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My love is not a test. My worth is not up for debate. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you will never again prove yourself to a man who does not deserve you. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of your strength, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the power, and the lessons that will set you free. Because, Queen, you were never meant to be tested. You were meant to reign. Number 5. If saying no makes him change, he was never real to begin with. Have you ever noticed how a man's love can feel so strong when you say yes, but the moment you say no, everything changes? The warmth turns cold, the sweet words disappear, the attention fades. Suddenly, the man who once swore he adored you is distant, irritated, or even gone completely. But here's the truth, and it's going to sting if your no is what makes him change. Then he was never real to begin with. Love that is only given when it benefits him is not love. It is control wrapped in pretty words. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if a man only stays when you comply, then his thoughts were never about you. They were about what he could take from you. Real love, true love, does not crumble under a simple boundary. A man who values you will not turn his back the moment you choose yourself. But the wrong man, he will, because his love was never about you. It was about his own desires, his own ego, his own convenience. And the moment you stop bending to his will, he will show you who he really is. Think of a house built on sand. It stands tall at first, looking strong, looking solid. But when the waves come, when the wind blows, it does not hold, it shifts, it breaks, it collapses. That is exactly what happens when a man's love is built on conditions. The moment you stop giving, the moment you stop sacrificing, the foundation cracks. And before you know it, the love you thought was unshakable disappears like it was never there. But let me tell you something, Queen, the right man. His love is not built on shifting sand. It is built on rock. It is built on respect, on understanding, on patience. And when you say no, he does not leave, he listens. A man who truly loves you will never make you feel like your boundaries are a betrayal. He will never punish you for protecting your peace. He will never demand your silence, your time, your sacrifices as proof of your devotion. But the wrong man, he will make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. He will act like your no is an attack, like your refusal is rejection. And that is how you will know he was never real. Because real love does not shake when it is tested. Real love does not run at the first sign of resistance. Real love stays. And now, Queen, it is time to understand the power of your no. It is not just a word, it is a shield. It is a line drawn in the sand. It is the moment you take back control. The moment you refuse to be drained. The moment you stop proving, stop bending, stop breaking, just to keep a man who was never strong enough to love you right. You see, a weak man needs your compliance to feel powerful. A strong man, he respects your strength. And if a man cannot handle your no, then he was never strong enough to handle you. There will come a day when he will remember the moment you stood your ground. The moment you refused to give in. The moment you finally chose yourself. And when that day comes, he will feel the weight of his own choices. Because he will look around and realize that no woman who values herself will ever let herself be treated the way he tried to treat you. And by then, you will be gone. Not waiting, not hurting, not wondering, just gone thriving, glowing, untouchable. And that, Queen, is the greatest lesson he will ever learn. Write this in the comments and claim it. My no is my power, and I will never give it away. Let the world know that you are done apologizing for protecting your heart. Number 6. A man who loves you will never ask you to shrink to make him feel bigger. Have you ever felt like you had to make yourself smaller just to keep a man happy? Like you had to soften your words, lower your standards, hide your intelligence, or hold back your success just to make sure he didn't feel threatened? At first, it feels like love. It feels like compromise. But over time, you start to disappear. Piece by piece, you become a quieter version of yourself, not because you want to, but because he makes you feel like you have to. And that, Queen, is not love. That is control wrapped in affection. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But how can you be truly happy when you are always second-guessing yourself? When you are constantly dimming your light so he doesn't feel like he's in your shadow? The truth is, a man who truly loves you will never ask you to shrink so he can feel bigger. He will never need you to be less just so he can feel like more. The wrong man will see your strength as competition, but the right man will see it as a gift. Imagine a caged bird. It was born to fly, to soar across the skies, to embrace the wind as its own. But if a man convinces that bird that the cage is where it belongs, if he tells it that the world outside is too dangerous, too uncertain, too much for it to handle, that bird will eventually believe it. It will stop trying to fly. It will accept the smallness of the space around it. And the saddest part, it will think that is love. But, Queen, you were never meant to be caged. You were born to take up space, to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized in all your glory. And any man who asks you to fold your wings for his comfort was never strong enough to stand beside you in the first place. A real man does not feel small when his woman shines. He is inspired by it. He does not get jealous of your ambition. He supports it. He does not silence your voice. He amplifies it. But a weak man, he will disguise his insecurities as love. He will tell you that you are too much, that you should slow down, that you should make space for his needs first. But that is not love. That is fear. And a queen does not live in fear. Look at the stars in the night sky. Do they dim themselves so that the others can shine? They burn brightly, fully, unapologetically. And that is exactly how you should love, how you should live. Because if a man truly values you, he will never ask you to be less than you are. He will never make you feel guilty for wanting more, for dreaming big, for walking in your power. The right man will never compete with you. He will build with you. So here's the truth, Queen. If a man needs you to shrink so he can feel strong, he was never a man to begin with. If he asks you to step back so he can shine, he does not deserve to stand in your light. And if he makes you question your greatness, then he was never great enough to have you in the first place. Love should not feel like suffocation. It should not feel like you are constantly choosing between your happiness and his ego. It should feel like freedom. It should feel like expansion. It should feel like home. And now, this is your moment. The moment you stop apologizing for being too much. The moment you stop making yourself small just to keep a man from feeling insecure. The moment you step fully into who you are and never let anyone tell you to be less than that again. Because, Queen, you were not meant to shrink, you were meant to reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. I will never shrink to make a weak man feel big. Let the world know that from this moment on, you will never make yourself smaller just to keep a man comfortable. 7. When a favor costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Have you ever noticed how a single favor can change everything? How the moment you say yes, something inside you feels off, like a knot tightening in your chest, like a door closing on your freedom. He asks you sweetly with charm, with just the right words to make you feel like it's nothing. Just this once, just to help him out. But deep inside, you know the truth. This isn't about love. This isn't about partnership. This is about control. Because when a favor costs you your peace, Queen, it is too expensive. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But when it comes to the wrong man, he does not care what is right. He only cares about what benefits him. He will make you believe that doing something for him is proof of your love, that sacrificing for him is how you show devotion. But here's the truth. Love does not come with a price tag. A real man will never ask you to trade your happiness just to make his life easier. Think of a beautiful lake, still and calm, reflecting the sky above. That is your peace. But now, imagine someone standing at the edge, tossing in stones, one after another. At first, they seem small, tiny ripples, barely noticeable. But as they keep coming, the water is no longer still. The surface breaks. The reflection is shattered. That is what happens when you keep saying yes to the wrong man. Each favor chips away at your peace, your stability, your sense of self. And by the time you realize what has happened, your entire world is unrecognizable. The worst part? He knows exactly what he is doing. He asks for things that seem harmless, things that make you second-guess yourself. And then, when you finally feel exhausted, when you finally start to question why you are the only one giving, he flips it on you. Why are you making a big deal out of this? I thought you cared about me. I thought you wanted to make me happy. And just like that, the guilt settles in. But Queen, listen closely. Your love should never feel like a debt. Your presence in his life is already a gift. You do not owe him anything. A man who truly values you will never put you in a position where you have to choose between your peace and his approval. He will never make you feel that saying no is a betrayal. Because love is not about keeping score. It is not about testing how much you are willing to give before you break. But the wrong man, he will take until there is nothing left, until you wake up one day and no longer recognize the woman in the mirror. And that is where everything must change. You were never meant to be drained. You were never meant to be a source that others keep drinking from while leaving you empty. You were meant to shine, to be at peace, to live with a heart that is full, not exhausted from constantly proving yourself to a man who will never be satisfied. This is the moment you reclaim your power, the moment you stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace, the moment you understand that saying no is not selfish, it is necessary. Because the man who truly deserves you will never ask you to sacrifice yourself for his comfort. He will cherish you, honor you, and protect your heart the way you have always protected his. Queens, hear this truth. Your peace is your power, and a man who asks you to give it up is a man who never deserved it in the first place. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My peace is priceless, and I will never trade it for love that is not real. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you choose yourself first. Number 8. The right man will never ask you to betray yourself to prove your loyalty to him. Have you ever been in love so deeply that you were willing to do anything for him? You saw him as your future, your heart, your home. Then, one day, he asked for something. Not love, not loyalty, not trust, something that made your heart sink. He wanted you to prove your devotion. Maybe he wanted you to cut ties with people you love. Maybe he asked you to choose him over your dreams. Maybe he made you feel that, to keep him, you had to become less of yourself. And for a moment, you questioned it. You wondered if love was supposed to feel like this, a sacrifice, a test, a never-ending fight to be enough. But here's the truth, Queen. Real love does not ask you to betray yourself. Real love does not demand proof. It sees your worth without question. Seneca once said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." Love should be a gift, freely given, not a transaction where you pay with your soul just to keep him interested. The wrong man will make you think that love is something you must earn. He will make you believe that if you do not bend, if you do not sacrifice, if you do not surrender parts of yourself, you will lose him. But the right man? The right man will never put you in that position. He will never make you feel like loving him means losing yourself. Think of a tree standing tall in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain beats down, but the roots hold firm. That tree does not break, it does not shrink, it does not ask permission to exist. That is how love should be. It should be strong, steady, grounding. But the wrong man, he is the wind, testing you, pushing you, trying to see if you will bend until you snap. And when you finally do, he will not catch you. He will walk away, leaving you broken, wondering how you ever let yourself fall this far. A man who truly loves you will never ask you to betray yourself. He will never ask you to give up your voice so that his can be louder. He will never ask you to make yourself small so that he can feel like more of a man. And the moment a man starts making demands, asking for proof, testing your loyalty, understand this: he is not trying to love you. He is trying to control you. How many times have you seen it happen? A woman gives up her friends because he says they are a bad influence. She quits her job because he feels insecure about her success. She stops speaking up because he makes her feel like her opinions do not matter. And at first, she tells herself, it's just love. It's just compromise. It's just part of keeping him happy. But over time, she fades. She forgets the sound of her own laughter. She loses the fire in her eyes. She looks in the mirror and does not recognize herself anymore. And the worst part, he does not even appreciate what she gave up for him. Because the man who asks you to betray yourself will never value the version of you that remains. But Queen, this is not your story. This is your awakening. This is the moment you see the truth. A man who truly wants you, a man who is worthy of you, will love the real you, not the version he tries to mold into something easier to control. He will never ask you to break ties with the people who love you. He will never ask you to prove your love with sacrifice. He will never make you choose between your dreams and his ego. Because a queen does not prove her worth, she lives in it. A queen does not shrink for a man, she rises beside one who is strong enough to stand next to her, and the man who cannot handle her power. He was never meant to hold it in the first place. So hear me now, beautiful lady, and hear me well. You do not need to prove anything to a man who truly loves you. You do not need to give up parts of yourself just to keep him interested. And if he ever makes you feel like you do, he was never your future. He was just a lesson. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Love does not ask me to betray myself. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you will never again beg, bend, or break for a love that was never worthy of you. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the strength, and the lessons that will set you free. You were never meant to prove your worth. You were meant to reign.